Attention. If you or a loved one suffer from being completely ass at Call of Duty, this video may be able to help. Enjoy. Welcome guys. Thank y'all so very much for taking time out of your busy schedules to come and check out this video. My name is Matt, also known as Jackal. Today, we are going to be doing something a little bit different, guys. We've been doing a lot of tips, a lot of tricks, that kind of sorts. Today, we're going to be ranking all 6 of the current assault rifles in Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. This list will include the Groza from Season 1's Battle Pass. I've been playing ARs for a long time. As you guys know, I have diamond ARs. I am very well surrounded by the assault rifle class, and I figured what better way to share my knowledge of the weapon type than to just tell you what the best, what the worst, and everything in between of the assault rifles are. I would like to preface this video with a few things, guys. First and foremost, all gameplays you are about to see have been conducted under very stringent conditions. The exact same perks, the exact same equipment, the exact same operator, the exact same lobby of bots on as low as they can go. I believe that's what, recruit. Secondly, the weapons you are about to see in these gameplays are going to be kitted out with the top attachments that I have found, the top performing weapons that I have been able to put together, the top builds, if you will. So this is basically the weapon at its best, at its peak performance, compared to all of the other weapons at their peak performances. And thirdly, of course, this is only my opinion. If you disagree, please calmly and kindly revert down to the comments and let me know why you disagree. If you think one of your favorite weapons should have been ranked higher, give me a good reason. Maybe I'll rethink it. Maybe I'll revisit this in the near future and, take into account some other issues. But having said that, and with that said, guys, I think it's time. Assault rifles are luckily very balanced in this game. Props to Treyarch. I do believe that with the right attachments and the right situations, each assault rifle in this game can flourish and can be competitive. Obviously, there's a couple outliers in submachine guns, maybe even the LMGs. You could make an argument. But assault rifles, I think, beside them being very situational, I think this is a great game for assault rifles. This is one of the better games we've had for assault rifles as far as balancing goes. So props to Treyarch for that. But I think it's time, guys. So without further ado, I'm going to jump in and give you guys my number 6 assault rifle, also known as collectively the worst. It's the bottom of the list. And for me, that is the FFAR. Now, the FFAR has great fire rate. To me, that's really all it's got. It takes about 6 bullets to kill at medium range. It's got recoil out the wazoo, and it's just very, very difficult to control. Now, for my FFAR class, I do have my list of attachments, guys, and those are going to be as follows. The Millstop Reflex, which, as you guys know, is up for debate. Use whatever optic you find best. If it's the Millstop, if it's a 2x, whatever you like, it doesn't affect performance. It's more just kind of personal preference. I do use the infantry compensator muzzle, the 19.5 inch reinforced heavy barrel, steady aim laser, field agent grip, 34 round magazine, the airborne elastic wrap handle, and the Raider stock. All of these attachments are just meant to mitigate recoil. It's not going to increase your damage or anything else drastically. 19.5 inch reinforced heavy barrel does add effective damage range and bullet velocity, but they don't drastically change things, such as if I were to use the task force barrel. The reason I don't use the task force barrel is because that just adds to your recoil. As you guys can see here, the stat line for the FFAR isn't great. It's, you're looking at a solid damage range, decent bullet velocity. Fire rate is among the highest. It's actually, I believe it is the highest. But that recoil is very difficult to control, especially if you're a newer player, new to PC, new to controller, whatever it may be. I personally play on controller, so even with what aim assist you think we have, it still isn't great. So for those reasons, the FFAR is going to be number 6 on my list. Coming in number 5 is the Groza. The Groza is a solid assault rifle, don't get me wrong. It's sporting a very solid fire rate at 750 rounds per minute. Damage range is why it's down here. The range on this weapon is not that good. I'm going to be honest. Its bullet velocity is among one of the highest in the class, but it's just doesn't have the range that it should to be as competitive as these next 4. Recoil can be mitigated fairly well with the setup that I'm running, but overall the range is really what kills this gun. It takes just 5 shots to the body to make a kill, but at the range that it has, that changes to 6 fairly quickly. I mean, halfway across Nuketown I think is a little far for a 5 range. I think it drops to about a 6, maybe even a 7, depending on where in the body you hit. So for these reasons, it's got to be dropped down to number 5. In order to mitigate all this recoil and, you know, get as much range as you can, I suggest using the Millstop Reflex, the Spetsnaz Compensator, the 16.2 inch GRU composite barrel, the Steady Aim Laser, Spetsnaz Grip, 40 round drum magazine, the GRU elastic wrap, and the KGB pad stock. Again, these just kind of help mitigate that recoil as much as possible, as well as increasing your damage output, both effective range and your bullet velocity as much as you can without sacrificing any recoil. So for those reasons, the Groza is going to be at number 5. Coming in at number 4, guys, is the QBZ-83. A lot of people don't give this gun the credit it deserves. I'm going to be honest. This gun, while it may not have the highest fire rate, it has an absolutely insane damage range compared to some of these other weapons. Maxed out was my build at 91.5 meters with a fire rate of 681 rounds per minute and a bullet velocity of 875 meters per second. This gun's time to kill is solid. I'm not saying it's the best, but it's far from the worst. The downside to this weapon is really its recoil as well. It's got a solid movement speed that comes with it, but the recoil control just kind of drops it down. When it's going up against the Krig, the AK-47, or the XM4, the damage output, the raw damage output, just isn't competitive. At only 32 points per bullet, it just doesn't have the willpower and the strength to beat out those other 4 weapons. Again, it's still a solid 5-round kill, 5-round body kill, but that raw damage just isn't there for it. 32 points isn't enough to compete with the next 3 weapons. Really, that's all it boils down to. This is a good gun. A lot of people don't give it a lot of credit. A lot of people even think it might even be worse than the FFAR, but with the right attachments, it's definitely competitive. Again, it's never gonna win when there's an even matchup against an AK-47, an XM4, or Krig. Going up against the FFAR or even the Groza, it's got a shot. It's definitely got a shot with the right player behind the gun. For this weapon, my suggestions are to use the Millstop Reflex, Infantry Compensator, the 15.5 inch reinforced heavy barrel, Steady Aim Laser, Field Agent Grip, 40 round drum mag, Airborne elastic wrap, and the Raider stock. Again, these are all very common attachments for the weapons that I always use. This build, again, just kind of mitigates recoil as much as it can while increasing some firepower, giving it a little more movement speed to it, a little increase to the speed without really damaging any of its accuracy. That's really all it is. You know, it's an average weapon. In this game, it is an average weapon in a class where the top 3 could honestly be shifted around in any way, shape, or form. Moving on to the top 3, guys, this has been one of my most difficult decisions to make, but after a lot of deliberation, I think I've finally made a decision as to which weapon is going to be number 3 on this list, and that is the XM4. Don't get me wrong, these next three weapons are all great in their own matter. They have great damage outputs, they have great range, just great weapons all around. But there are definitely things that obviously put them aside from one another, and the XM4 just kind of loses that battle. The XM4's main pull, its main attractive feature, is its lack of recoil. Its recoil is very, very low. It is a beam machine with the right attachments. Where it really falls below the Krig and the AK-47 is its damage. It only rocks 30 damage, so it's another 5 bullet body kill. With a range of 91.44 meters, a fire rate of 722 rounds per minute, and a bullet velocity of 770 meters per second, it's your average assault rifle. There really isn't anything astonishing out of that. It's an average assault rifle. It's what you would expect from the first assault rifle unlocked in a game. It's that gun that no matter what your skill level is, you can succeed. And for that reason, I've put it at number 3. The attachments I suggest you use for this weapon are the Millstop Reflex Sight, Infantry Compensator Muzzle, the 13.5-inch Reinforced Heavy Barrel, Steady Aim Laser, the SFOD Speed Grip, the 40-round mag, the Airborne Elastic Wrap, and the Raider Pad. Now, a lot of you guys may be wondering why the SFOD Speed Grip, and that's because the one reason this gun isn't lower is its mobility. Mobility with the XM4 is very fluid and very, very quick. That's what puts this gun ahead of the QBZ and the Groza, for me personally. With this build, guys, we are maximizing our movement speed while not losing any recoil control. So that's why we're going with the Reinforced Heavy for the increased effective range and bullet velocity, and you don't lose any recoil control. With all the other barrels, you lose some recoil control, and with the XM4, you want it to be as friendly as possible when it comes to recoil. And with this build, I think you get that. Now, we only have 2 weapons left, guys, the Krig and the AK-47. These weapons, again, both have great pros and cons to them, but obviously we have to pick one. Number 2 goes to the Krig. Yes, the AK-47 will be number 1. We'll get into that in a second. Krig 6 is, again, one of your top ARs in this game. It is very friendly to new players, very friendly to old players. You can kit this weapon out to fit any playstyle you want. This weapon does sport 35 damage per bullet, so 4 shots to the upper body, 5 to the lower torso. But what sets this gun apart from the XM4 and why I put that ahead of the XM4 is its recoil control. With this build, it's nearly completely mitigated with the recoil control. There isn't much more room for straight beams with this weapon. The one downside to this gun compared to the XM4 is your movement speed. You have great aim down sights time comparatively, but your overall movement speed and even your sprinting and shooting move speed just aren't there compared to the XM4. So this is why the Krig is number 2, just mainly because of that recoil. The recoil is very hard to mitigate in some weapons, and with guns with as good of base recoil control as the Krig 6, you can't pass it up. In order to get the most performance out of the Krig 6, I suggest you use the Millstop Reflex Sight, Infantry Compensator Muzzle, the 19.7-inch Takedown Barrel, Steady Aim Laser, Field Agent Grip, 40-round mag, the Airborne Elastic Wrap, and the Raider Stock. Again, these are all common attachments you're hearing. Nothing new. Again, we are increasing our recoil control even more while trying our darndest not to lose as much movement as we can. We don't make up for it a lot in this class, but that's just to make sure that we can keep beaming. This gun is not meant to run around like the XM4. You're going to be sitting on a head glitch and just shooting straight beams all day, baby. So for that reason, the Krig 6 is number 2. Which means, by process of elimination, and if you are playing along at home, the AK-47 is your number 1 assault rifle in Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, recording a strong 38 damage per bullet. That makes it, if you were counting, that makes it a 4 shot to the upper body. It's incredible. Damage range is the one fall off. Its effective damage range is only 76 meters at just 600 rounds per minute and a 680 meters per second bullet velocity. This weapon does lose a lot of strength when it comes to range, but mid-range, this gun will tear through anything. It will beat any other weapon. Very comparable move speed to the Krig 6, and that's really it. You know, recoil control is strong. Not quite as strong as the Krig 6, which is where it might lose if you can't aim. This gun is very hard to control with either the wrong attachments or just very new players. New players, I suggest not going for the AK right off. You know, stick with a Krig or an M4 until you learn some more recoil control. But once you get recoil control down, the AK-47 is unmatched. The damage output alone just puts it at a tier above. So for that reason, I've decided the AK-47 is your top AR. In order to get the most performance out of it, of course, we have our list of attachments. The Millstop Reflex, the Spetsnaz Compensator, the 18.2-inch VDV Reinforced Barrel, Steady Aim Laser, Spetsnaz Grip, 40-round mag, the GRU Elastic Wrap, and the KGB Skeletal Stock. All of these weapons, like I've said, guys, are incredible, but AK-47's damage alone just puts it at a tier above. Once you can hit shots, there's no reason you're going to lose a gunfight if you have an AK. Aim high and bodies will fall. There you guys have it. Hope you guys found this video helpful and informative. If you did, please do not forget to leave without leaving a like. Subscribe if you are new. Always helps out the channel. Thank you ahead of time for doing that. This has been a really fun video, trying out all of these weapons and just looking to see how I can make them the best as I can. I guess this kind of counts as a setup video as well. So if you guys are seeing this, comment down below what weapons you guys want me to do next. I will tier any of the weapons in Cold War. This has been fun, guys. I've had a lot of fun making this video. Had a lot of fun editing this video too. I know I am. So having said that, with that said, hope you guys have a good rest of your day, night, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it may be, wherever you may be. Talk to you guys in the next one. Happy slaying. Peace.